Word. Perfect. Now we can just chat.
Right.
Okay.
Back to regular chatting. Or like a regular scheduled program.
Yeah. After the commercial break, now we're back.
But no, we was actually, like I was saying, when in regards to like the book, Switch on Your Brain, like, or like when they said it, we got to the part where it was telling us like basically every day we're creating like little spacers in our bodies that, so the next time we interact with anything, that spacer is what, we activate. Then how it shows that like basically we're born with, different genes. So like we have a gene in us. So like how like, you may have like alcoholics in your family. But however, you have to turn on that alcohol, like the alcoholic gene. Now, so in order to switch on that gene, it will basically go through your thought process. Like that's why, when they say like, for example, like when somebody's on drugs and when they're off of it, which really ever changes is just what they're thinking about. Their thoughts aren't, so they still have that, regular DNA. It's like, all right, look, I'm gonna run. For example, I don't know many like drug addicts that that became clean who are not, passionate about something. I don't know many of them.
It's like a replacement almost.
Right, yeah, like, it's just like, they're probably in the gym all the time, they're probably big on health, they're probably, you might see them out running, they're reading books all day.
That's what they say when people quit smoking. You gotta, you have to give your brain something else to attach itself to in replacement of that. Right.
And it's really because, like you said, when they was talking about the subconscious, because like, bro, the way that thing even works is like crazy to me, because the book like goes into deep thought of like why it takes over. So it takes 21 days for you to basically break a habit, like at least minimum. It takes minimum, because basically when I say you create the spacers don't just happen like, with one instant. It's something, the spacers have to basically be created. So like your DNA doesn't change when like it immediately happens. But if something constantly keeps on going, keeps on happening, it actually changes to be like, okay, I go this way. Like, for example, why is it like, if you constantly wake your kids up every morning, from, the elementary school to high school, and they're getting up every morning. Like, you have the kids that are actually getting up every morning. By the time they're in high school, they're just getting up. When they get out of school, they're just getting up. And it's like, and it's just a habit. Then the kids that were always waking up and going back to sleep, all the kids that woke up and went back to sleep, when they get out of high school, their body is just waking up and going back to sleep.
That's what the guy talked about in the compound effect. He said every morning, because his room was right above the garage, right? And every morning, it was like 5 or 6 a.m., he'd hear his dad just clanking weights in the garage, and his room was right above, and it always woke him up. And he kept waking up at that time, waking up at that time, and then he was saying like, it didn't initially kick in where he was like automatically waking up at that time, but there was like one day where his dad didn't wake up, didn't wake him up with the weights, and I guess he was doing something else, and he woke up, and then he woke up for the day because his body was automatically waking up. And he said that that's like part of the compound effect, is it goes like this, like this, like this, and then it starts to hit that curve, and then it hits that subconscious, that autopilot. And he said a big reason why even today that he wakes up early is because of his dad doing that. There's this other video that I watched recently with Steve Harvey, and he said he had a network marketing coach, and every morning at 5 a.m., this guy from Amway, his mentor, would call him and be like, "Hey Harvey, how's it going? How's your day going today?" And he's like, "It's going okay." And he's like, "All right, man, it's gonna be a great day." And he'd hang up, click. And he kept doing this every day. And then after 38 days, one time the guy called, "Hey Harvey, how's it going? 5 a.m. And Harvey was like, he's like, "Oh man," he's like, "it's going good." He's like, "You woke me up." And then he's like, "Man, can I ask you something?" He's like, "How come every day when I call you at the same day, you're always on like a low energy and a low vibe?" And like, and then he said something. He's like, "Man, I just don't get you." And then he like hung up. And then Harvey was like, what? The guy like called me out. He said that I have like a bad energy in the morning, and he's like, and he thought about it, and then he waited for the next day for him to call, and he was up, he was waiting for him to call, and the guy was like, hey Harvey, how's your day going? He's like, my day's going great, how's your day going? And he was like super excited and jacked because he thought about it, right? And then Steve Harvey went on to run this radio talk show where he was the 5 a.m. guy in traffic, where every morning he would wake up and give people that encouragement and that excitement, that 5 a.m. in the morning. And it was because his network marketing mentor that used to call him every morning and then made him question, like, dude, every time you wake up, you're always waking up with low energy, low vibes. Like, he's like, why aren't you excited about life? Why aren't you excited about the day? And then it really hit him, and then he became, it hit that part, and like you said, what's it called again? The patches, the spots?
Oh, the spacers?
The spacers. It hit the spacers inside of him, and that subconscious energy where then he actually became the guy for early morning like motivation. And like I thought that was actually, those are two examples like just relating to like those spacers that I can kind of relate to that. That's crazy.
You know what's crazy? It's like even when you're speaking about even that story, is like you show how the compound effect actually works. It's because, like, you know, I think E.T. said it one time when he was like, you know, a lot of people don't actually get to the next level because they don't give themselves long enough. Because the way it really works is it is very steady. It doesn't look like it's going anywhere at the first. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. You know, it's like, okay, I quit. But literally, it's like after that first little bounce, if you continue with the momentum, it can shift you, you know, completely up. But it's like it takes getting over that little hump, which it talks about in the book too. Like where I liked it was like it was saying like that's why it takes over some, like for certain people it may take 30 days, it may take 40 days for them to overcome the habit, because it's all about how deep embedded it is in your subconscious. Because basically it could be anything. For example, like somebody who smokes cigarettes. To quit cigarettes for life, you basically have to quit every day. Like, you know, you basically have to tell yourself you hate them. You know, your mind has to now hate them, hate the smell of them, hate the look of them, hate what they do to your body, hate what it does to you. Because other than that, once it'll literally have like, so something happens, the first thing your subconscious is going to do is go back to, hey, I smoke cigarettes when this happens.
Yeah. It's just like that. Hey, yeah, it's like the book Alan Carr, the Alan Carr Easy Way to Quit Smoking. It's had like over like an 80% success rate. And what that whole book is based off of is it teaches you all the harm. It encourages you to smoke while you read it. And as you're smoking while you're reading this book, it's telling you all how bad cigarettes, what's happening physically in your body and your brain when you're smoking. So you're smoking and you're reading this, and the whole book is designed to change your wiring in your brain that you have around cigarettes. And then by the time you're on your last page and you have your last smoke, you just don't want to even touch it again, because like it changed the way your whole thought process about it.
Right, the whole view is different. I was like, wait, ew, that thing. That's not supposed to be.
And that's how powerful the subconscious mind is too, because it's like you're ripping apart these old ideas and you're building them back up again. And you know, like you said, subconscious, every time something happens, instead of your brain will automatically go, oh, cigarette, I smoke, and then it'll go, oh wait, I read Alan Carr, no, that's gross, and then it'll go, oh wait, replacement.
You know what's crazy? It's like, alright, baby, come on, lay down. I know you sleepy. Go ahead, you can lay down. It's crazy. She really just wants to lay down.
I'm gonna pause this video again, and I'm gonna.
So like, but I was like, oh yeah, like in the crazy part, like when you was talking about like how powerful the subconscious is, like it was showing like when you say like the time, it was like how who was it that actually did it? Like oh yeah, so like it was showing how like when you were doing like, for example, when they training like the Marines and all of that, like why they actually do break them down to build them up, because like when you take down their mental, that's why it takes, you know, that long. That's why they have that long, you know, drawn out, you know, week, you know, that even that week and that whole week, because of what they do to them mentally, it's like they are actually beating at the subconscious on a different level. And I love, like, because of like the focus that even comes with it, where it also tells you like how meditation helps more. And at that time, when I first read the book, bro, I didn't meditate at all. Like, I didn't even know what meditation really was. Like, I thought it was like you read scriptures and that's the only way you meditate. Like, I thought it was like, I'm like, or you know, you put it like, ones? I got a baby. That's what I say.
Like Tibetan singing bowls and everything, incense, aromatherapy.
You know, so like, and like I was reading this book and it was telling like why meditation is so important, because that's the only other way to actively, you know, fight your subconscious, is to understand who and what you are every day that you wake up. So what I used to do, like back before COVID, when New York was still running, was like I wake up and I started going on the train, and I think at the time I was using Headspace, and so I was trying to use. I would read a scripture, and then I would listen to Headspace for the first 15 minutes of the ride, and then I'll read a book for the end. And like the thing was, as I kept meditating, I think it was like my, I'll say like third month, because also that's how I quit cigarettes and, you know, all of that was doing the, you know, the meditation and stuff. And so like when I get there, because I also like did it for my job. So anyway, when I get to the third month, it's like I got better in the meditation. So now I can feel my body, I can feel everything. And when I understood the power of energy and all of that through the meditation, and why the subconscious works, is because like when I realized I had changed my body and mind into like a more positive person, when I came in, I walked on the train, and literally that morning, it was like the third month, somebody spilled hot coffee on like one of my brand new shirts. Like any other morning, like that would have made me so mad.
Like, just instant reaction, right? Like just stimulus response.
You're right. Like, any other time, I would have been upset. But like when, as soon as it happened, like I just looked up and I saw the person's face, and they were so like distraught, and it looked like their arm got bumped. So it wasn't their fault. Somebody else who walked past them, so like they're apologizing. I don't know who, but I'm just like, it's all right. You know what? It's just a shirt. And craziest thing happened to me. Like this, I said it's just a shirt, and like I'm walking out off the train, and I get off the train, bro. This is like literally, I'm walking off the train, and something smacks me in the face, like smacks me, and it goes like this, and kind of like like. And it was like a $20 bill. Like,
no way. It was just like the universe is like, hey, I'm here.
I got $20, and I was thought about it. I was like, well, I do need a new shirt.
That's the cool thing about meditation is like, you know, they say that the subconscious mind will actually run your entire life, but unless you can meditate and create a separation, like between yourself and your higher self, and because you need that space in between thoughts, because they have this thing called monkey brain, and that's like what like yogis and meditation people say, because it's like you're just going from one thought to a next, to a next, to a next, to a next. And what happens is our emotions are directly attached to our thoughts. So as soon as we think a thought, we feel an emotion. But through meditation, you get this separation from your thoughts, and you get to become the observer. So like a lot of these meditation apps, they say this: sit back, imagine your thought coming in as like a cloud in the sky. Watch it come in and watch it go. Watch it come in, watch it go. Until there's nothing left, till you're at an empty space. And then it's like, but once you reach that level of
out of the cloud.
Exactly, yeah. And then once you get that separation, now you can actually you know that you aren't your thoughts. You're an observer.
Yeah.
And you're the one who is actually has the control now, that space. Now you can actually think and consciously apply, like, because when the coffee gets spilled, when you're in monkey brain, you just hear the thought, I got spilled, and then emotion comes and you're just like, right? And then you black out, next thing you know, you don't know where you're like, what happened, right? And then it's like, but like, and that's how a lot of people look like stimulus response. But if you can get that separation and have that extra space between your thoughts, you can really actually start to shape and mold what your future outcomes become and what they end up looking like.
Oh yeah. You know, and I love how you explain that, because I didn't even like. I'm glad you brought up the monkey brain, because I got to get back into it because I haven't actively been meditating daily like I should anymore.
Yeah, I haven't.
After like you know, especially with COVID happened, like I'll meditate, but it wasn't as much because I was doing it on a train. So like no more train rides. You took away my actual meditation time. But one of the things that I love about it is when I meditate, when I'm done. It's like especially when I do it in the morning, like I'm supposed to, I wake up and I'm still a little tired as always, and like, you know, I'm getting myself ready. But then after I meditate, it's almost like I finally wake up. Like when I actually meditate, when I come out of it, it's like, oh, hello, Lau, I'm back again. Yeah. Because now, like you said, you can see your thoughts. Like my thoughts no longer control me. You know, and the days that I don't meditate, I can feel that as soon as I make a thought, I feel something. And another thing that it was talking about is like how you change the way that you even change like our subconscious, or like the way we think about things. So one of the things I'll even bring up is like I used to tell people that the day I got married, it was the worst day of my life. I don't tell people that anymore. I tell people the day I got married was one of the best days of my life. And it was also the first time, it was just the first challenge me and my wife ever overcome together. So when I changed the way I thought about it, it also changed my marriage. It changed how I interacted with her family. You know, at one point, I'm like, man, y'all ruined my wedding. Yeah. Now I'm like, y'all made us stronger. Like, you know, because of that, it was like, you know, that solidified that, okay, I can spend the rest of my life with you. We got married, the day we get married, we go through this crazy trial and we make it out together. Okay. You know, so and changing the thought like that also was able to like help you change the emotion. However, like you said, if you're monkey braining, you don't have the ability to do that. You're just going to react, and I'm going to keep on saying,
that's all it is.
You ruined my wedding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it gets embedded, right? And like whenever that thought comes up, boom, emotion. And then behavior.
You know, even another one is like one of my close friends, like not my close friend, but like one of my wife's brothers, like I think like cousin or brother or something. So basically they're like family. And so when I told you when I had got jumped when I was came to New York, and even the way he looks at it, like the person that did feels so bad. He's like, bro, I don't even know what I was doing. I don't know why we did that, whatever. And the way I see it, I keep telling him like, I love him for what he did, and I thank him. And he always looks at me crazy, like, yo, bro, you know, like that hurts me when you say it. I'm like, look, when I say thank you, let me explain to you why I say it. So I think after I explained to him that, like, if that never happened, I would never be where I am today. Because of my face, it forced me out of a job and forced me into the rest of my life. He was so like, you know, but everybody else in the family looked at him like, man, why are you even talking to him? What did he do to you? I'm like, actually, changed my life.
Because you guys are friends even now too, right?
What?
Wow,
what? He was just over the house.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
See, close friends, bro. Like,
one thing I was thinking about that idea that you said about, because have you ever seen those? It's like an old Chinese like metaphor where the monkeys are like have the hands on the ears, hands on the eyes, hands on the mouth.
Yeah, and like this.
Yep.
And they
hear no evil,
like,
see no evil, speak no evil. So here's the thing: is you have to be very careful. Because it's all about protecting your subconscious mind. Because how is your subconscious mind affected? Through what you see, through what you hear, and through what you say. You have to be very careful what you say because you're affirming it. Yeah. That's why they cover the eyes, cover the mouth, cover the ears, because that is how you affect the subconscious mind. That's your jewel. And that's why they say you have to be very careful, because when you're looking at, like, children, if they see some crazy stuff, like fights and all these things all the time, then they're gonna be like, they're gonna go on like, because they're seeing it. Or if they're hearing, what if you tell your kid every day, you are great, you are special, you were born for a reason, you were born to do amazing things. Over time, they're gonna start to be like, yeah, I am pretty great, yeah, I am pretty special, yeah, I am supposed to do this, I am good at this. And they're gonna start saying that. So,
you know what's crazy why you said that, like, you know, and that's what I even believe so much that, like, with my kids, I had this mantra when they were going to school. Before I started the mantra, they wouldn't raise their hands. They were actually behind. They may have failed the kindergarten at that time. And I was just like, all right, look. So I would wake them up every morning and I would tell them, I was like, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you, what are you? When I ask you, what are you? You're going to say, I'm great. I'm strong. And I got this. Yeah. Jehovah's with me and nobody can stop me.
Yeah. So, like, getting goosebumps.
So, like, every day they would say that every morning. And so I would, right before they got on the bus, right, I would stop them. I'd turn them around and be like, hey, wait, what are you? Great, strong. I gotta like record it like, cause I got this.
Wow.
You know, and whenever they would get down, or whenever they get feeling like, all right, what are you? And they're like, I'm great. And I could see that it changed. And my mom was one of the reasons why I did it. It's like, because my mom definitely did that for me. Every day, she would tell me how much of a star I was for this or that, which is why I think for me, it was kind of crazy because when you go back to your parents and you're like, hey, Mom, I got this crazy idea. I'm going to go ahead and run my own business and I'm going to do this with it. And they're looking like, I mean, I know I said you can do anything. It's like, wait, did it stop now? It's like, no, Mom. A few years ago, I used to tell my mom all the time, like, Mom, I think it was like in 2009, when I met my wife, so 2009, I used to always be like, look, there's going to be a lot of money on this internet. I don't know how, but I'm going to make money on the internet. Like, the internet is going to make money. And I remember years going on and me doing it. And I can see the different changes from me then or me now. When I was at that time, I didn't believe what my mom was saying about me being smart or me being this. I was like, man, I'm stupid. Man, I got ADD. You know, I can't focus.
2 + 2 = 5. That's like me with math. It's horrible at math.
Like, and so like, it would be like, man, you know, I can't do this, I can't do that. But, and then I start changing it. It's like, oh, I want to do this. No, you know what? How can I do that? It was no longer, I can't. And I'm starting to realize that, like, when I say that, because when I tell you, like I said, I've gotten to move from, you know, certain places and certain areas to new areas. And then the people I'm around, like you said, who's speaking into your ear? Who's in your ear? Who's waking you up every morning? Who's your first phone call? My first phone calls are always like, hey, peace, God, how you doing today, man? And it's just like, what's going on, Josh? How you doing, baby? And like, and my wife sometimes, she's like, baby, you're loud. Sorry, I know it's early.
Right? As soon as you wake up.
And so she'll be like, why are you so happy all the time in the morning? Well, or excited. Because sometimes, like, and then, like, the days that I'm not happy in the morning, I already know what I did or what I didn't do. I woke up and I didn't go straight to meditate.
Which is, you're putting that program in first thing in the morning. Imagine this, people, they wake up out of bed, they go, they make their coffee, they sit down, they read the newspaper for an hour. And then they go watch the news for another 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then they go to work. And it's like, what Or they say this. There's this thing. It's called garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, that's garbage out. Yep. Yeah, garbage in, garbage out.
Garbage in, garbage
that's
out.
Why, like, also, like I wake up to my ET Secret to Success podcast every morning.
Oh,
like,
ET.
Because that's my. That's
you can't not get hyped by listening to that guy. Like, he's like this. Everybody's got a dream. He's like, but not everybody got grind. He's like, Monday I grind, Tuesday I grind, Wednesday I grind, Friday I grind, Saturday I grind, Sunday I grind, and that's why I'm here today. And I'm like, I get goosebumps hearing that. I listen to that like every time, over right? and over and over because I was like, whoa.
I used to love that.
Yeah.
That was definitely one of my train ride songs after meditation.
Yeah.
Would be one of those.
Yeah.
That would be like. So, like, people, like, now, because, like, when people get in my car, I already know, like, people get in my car, they're like, bro, you don't got to, oh, yeah, all right, I'll turn the radio on for you. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to this junk.
Yeah.
And the craziest part is, like, I found myself, like, I'll be real, like, throughout the whole COVID, going through changes, figuring. Yeah. So like and it was crazy because like I could feel the difference of like being there like when you're doing those things and when you're not, because the way your body responds and like so like when COVID happened and I wasn't making sure I was listening to like that, I actually started putting on music when I woke up. Like I'm telling you, COVID literally messed up like a lot of my routine. I spent a lot of last year, the end of last year, trying to figure it out because things started going crazy. And one of it was I started realizing I was putting music on in the morning. I didn't do that. I usually was listening to E.T. or Les Brown or somebody as a motivational speech while I'm in the shower. Then I put something else on. Also, I was waking up about 3:40, 4 o'clock in the morning. I was waking up now in COVID times at 10 o'clock. 9 o'clock, and or just waking up right to get the girls to school, and then I'm laying down. And it was because I also didn't have a job at the time, so I was like, all right, so what am I? Well, yeah, I was working from home, but I was like way ahead of like everything. So like even working from home, I wasn't doing it right, and everything started going crazy. Like whole life, parents, the kids are looking at me crazy, They're like, where's dad? Why is daddy? And they're really asking, where's daddy? And I'm standing right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and when your kids ask you that and you're there in their presence, kind of does something to you.
Yeah. That stuff, I learned it so this is like when I was doing door-to-door sales, like, I'll be honest, like, I wasn't, when I, for the first few years, I wasn't even like, good, you know what I mean? Like, I had to struggle to get good, like, to figure out door-to-door sales, and I tried to do this and try to do that and try to do this, try to do that, but it wasn't until I changed what I did in the morning until I actually started getting crazy results. So every morning I'd listen to music, I'd wake up late, I'd rush to get to the office, and I'd have no time to prepare or anything. I'd go to the thing. I always had this little anxiety in my chest, and I'd go at the doors and I'd get no results, and I'm like, what's going on? Or I'd get lucky, I'd get like a deal here, a deal there, like I still like enough to survive, like, but I wasn't like great, you know what I mean? And then it wasn't until my buddy told me about NLP, where you're changing the inner workings of your mind, your programming. What's your programming? It's neuro-linguistic programming. And like, so what I started to do is like, okay, you know what? Today I'm gonna test this. I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna hit the gym, I'm gonna meditate, I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna listen to a successful audio for 30 minutes. I'm gonna read for about an hour. And then I'm gonna eat a nice healthy meal, fruits, vegetables. I'm gonna drink water. And then I'm gonna go. So I'm only gonna listen to Earl Nightingale, who's talking about success. That you become what you think. Like, I'm literally I'm talking to a guy. I'm hearing a guy talk about how to think because I wanna know how to think. And he's like teaching me how to think, which is interesting. And then I would go to the doors and like literally I'd go knock a door, no deal, but I'm like, oh whatever. I go to the next door, boom, deal, and I'm like, whoa, because it seemed like everything slowed down. I wasn't anxious. I wasn't nervous. I had this inner confidence that was so powerful that people could just sense it. I didn't even say much, and they just knew by the questions that I asked and the reason why I was there, and because of my presence. They just knew that they could like trust me and do business with me, and it wasn't until I started changing those things, like how my neurolinguistic, what's my program, what am I programming into my mind? Once I started changing that, and then I was like, oh, like how do I help other people get sales results? So we'll be in the car, we'll be going to turf area, and like, you know, we can listen to music and get hyped up and this and that, and then like go hit the doors, and then maybe the whole team didn't get that much results. But so what I started doing is adding in successful audios, like some things that we can listen to before the doors that'll give us like a mindset and skill. And then all of a sudden production went way up, and it was like because a lot of people weren't focusing on their personal development in the morning. They're waking up late, rolling out of bed, getting to the office, not getting results, wondering why. And then so I was like, okay, if we're gonna drive to the field, let's turn it into Brian Tracy talks about it. He calls it what's it called? It's like you turn your car into a university. So whenever you step in your car, you always have some, because you can get a university degree education just from your commuting time in your vehicle. And most people don't even realize, but like you can learn any skill you want on your commute to work. That's gonna help you venture off into your next field of practice. That's gonna give you more free time, whether it's business or whatever. But just that alone helped me, but it also helped production of other people. And people still say to me today, yo, Daine, those car rides when we listen to that motivational and learning and training and stuff, he's like, dude, if I work with these other guys now and they don't do any of that, and I'm like, I don't even see them as helpful. I don't even see them like they literally are barely making an impact. And like just that alone, like now I'm reading these books and doing this and doing that, and like they want to take success in their own hands. And like that was my because I really learned that through doing door-to-door sales, because like there's really the only variable you can adjust, and because you can't control who's gonna answer the door or what they're gonna say, the experience. You can only control your mental state. And that's when I first started learning about cold showers, meditating. And these are things that I even need to do more today. Like I've been off the cold showers, I've been off the meditation. But there's so many different kinds of meditation. Basketball, working out, running, doing the dishes, cleaning, playing with your kids. This is all meditation too. Like there's so many different forms.
Right, you know, one of the things, and that was so one of the things I was about to say is like when I got to the point of like really under like changing that mind, and realized the good thing about it. I think it was a guy, man. His name, he actually goes on. If you go to his Instagram, he goes by @Disciplina or @Disciplina.
Let me write that down.
And like, yeah, @Disciplina. This guy is literally one of the most disciplined people though I've ever met.
How do I spell it?
DISCPLINA.
And just the @ sign, right? That's his handle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got him there.
Yeah. But see, he was actually, so this guy, it's crazy how I met him. So I met him.
Oh, you met him too?
I met him doing like I've known this guy for years. That's the crazy part. So like, he's the one that kind of changed my mind 6 years ago. He's the reason I came up with my 6-year plan, basically. He is the man who put me and gave me the mindset to change my life. I met him like probably about 7 years ago. It was like literally like right after I got married, because I've been married 8 years, and like it was like a year after I get married. My wife's pregnant. I'm selling Mass and Nut, and it's like a resort out in Virginia, so it's a resort. I was selling these vacations, really like, you know, those little timeshare presentations.
Yeah.
So I was selling it for like at the mall kiosk where you pay $99 and then we give you $100 Visa gift card when you get to the resort. And, you know, I got really good at just telling people, like, look, when's the last time you got paid to go on vacation?
Yeah.
That's right. We're going to pay you to go.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I said, that's right. You give us $99, but that's just like putting money in the bank. And then, oh, wait, we're going to give you your $99 back. And plus, here's $1 just for the interest. Thank you. So you get all your money just to spend on the resort when you get there. Like, so I used to do it, like, and I was really good at just doing it. Like, I was, you just know I'm animated. So, like, when people walk past, like, I might do like a spin or do like this crazy song. Like, hey, you know you want to see it. And look at me like, what you doing? And like, I think one person, so like, I'm there. Like, that's how I got Ralph to come. He sees me acting a fool. So he sees me acting a fool one day, and so he comes and he's like, bro. He just walks over to me. He's like, man, I love your energy, bro. Like, what's your name? Like, talking. Mind you, you would have thought that like this guy was, you know, obviously a network marketer or something. He was not at that moment. He wasn't. He was actually just going to school to getting his master's degree, and literally was just like coming to the malls to walk around. And so he was just coming to walk around and just like love my energy. So he said that he literally would come some days and eat by where I was standing, just so he can just have some entertainment. I was like, wait, what? And so like, he comes over to me one day, and like, you know, we start talking, and you know, we get really cool. And long story short, like, I ended up a few years later, like actually, yeah, about 2 years later, he hit me up randomly. So he hits me up randomly. Like 2 years go by, I don't talk to this guy. I've seen him. I used to see him every day. He used to come in like every day, just come say hi. And so now I don't see the dude. And he hits me, and he's like, bro, you know, hey, look, I'm doing this new thing, and, you know, if maybe I can help somebody you know, so, like, would you mind me showing you what I got, so, you know, maybe you can point me in the right direction to help somebody know or whatever. I'm like, all right, and he was with Primerica. So, he comes over, he gives me the Primerica spiel. Of course, I end up joining with him, and when I joined with him, he was calling me at 4:30. He was on, and I quit. I couldn't take it, because I was like, bro, like, you trying to tell me to do all this, bro? I'm married, bro. I got twins. Like, yo, my life is not like yours, bro. It's just you. Like, I'm coming up with everything. Like, you don't know my life, bro. You don't know how I'm doing. You don't know what I'm doing. Like, you don't know what I'm going through. I gave him that whole spill. I gave him that. I gave him that talk. Yeah, I don't know my life. And
you gave like, the ET on that one, right? Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's like the sales pitch.
He just looked at me like, you know what? He said, do you really want this? I was like, yeah, I want it. He said, all right, so this is what you're gonna have to do. So like, he goes through like me changing my routine, changing this, and then of course, you don't really get to see it and to believe it until you're with somebody for a whole weekend or a week or so, and you see it eye to eye, face to face, in your face. So, mind you, at this time, he was telling me I should wake up before 6 o'clock every day. He wasn't telling me to wake up at 3:30 like he does. He wakes up at 3:30. He wasn't telling me to go to sleep by 8 o'clock and like he does. He goes to sleep by 8 o'clock. Like, you know, so he wasn't telling me to do any of that. But he was saying, all right, get up before 6. So I think we went to like so we're in Maryland. We had to travel to North Carolina. The whole ride to North Carolina, there was not one song played. Not one. Now that ride is about 6.5 hours for 7 hours. So for 7 hours, there was no songs, there was no music. We actually we got through a whole book. Like, you know, we got through a whole book. Went through I forgot which speaker it was. We went through one of those speakers presentations, a full presentation. And, you know, like, that was our ride. And it was crazy because that was the first time that I felt what that would feel like. So I was like, wait a minute. At first I was annoyed. Don't get me wrong, bro. Like, that first hour was like, yo, bro, we really going, because first what happened, I think we put on like one motivational speech. We put on one motivational speech, then I put on one, and then I looked, and he was like, yo, man, come on, I know you said you'd be listening, like, you know, motivational speeches every morning, because I was working at this place, oh yeah, on the road, I Road Runner Sports at the time. So crazy story about that is when I first got there, I was okay, I was pretty good, but I wasn't the top salesman yet. I became the top salesman by working with Ralph. So I'm there, and like Ralph was the one who he said he needed help with sales techniques from me. But he gave me the mindset to be able to actually do all the techniques I know. You know, yeah, it's cool, you can know everything you want, but if you have that monkey brain, tell you you're not going to use it. You're not.
So true.
You're not good. Like, you're going to be like, you can know it. And I used to always wonder how I could train people, and they would become better than me. And I'm just like, why is he better? Well, this dude wakes up in the morning. This dude makes sure he has breakfast by this time. This dude eats the same time every day. It doesn't change. Like, so yeah, he's better prepared to actually, give this, have this skill. You're just like, hey, shoot it out.
Exactly.
You know, so like, when I go and I'm playing the song anyway, I'm playing the song the first hour, I look at him like, wait, we're gonna really do this all day? Like, say, bro, I don't listen to music. We're not gonna listen to music in my car. He's like, I'm like, all right. He's like, man, yo, do you hear what they're saying on that? Like, I'm not feeding my brain that stuff, man. And like, at that time, I didn't even understand what he was talking about, feed his brain. Then he was like, he said something like, he gave me a book called How Money Works. I'm like, bro, what you mean how money works? You make money? You save money? Like, it's really not that hard. Like, That sounds so silly. That was so dumb, man. Like, that's me 6 years ago, bro. Like, that's me. That's the 25-year-old me, bro. Like, I'm sitting there like, oh, bro, like, what do you mean? Like, nah, man, like, that don't make sense. Like, he's like, bro, you gotta understand, like, this is what I'm like, no, like, this. And so, as I'm going along, and the whole day, after like maybe 2 hours, I really start paying attention to it. Then I start realizing, like, my body is starting to change. Like, my inner body is starting to feel good. By the time we got there, I didn't want to get out the car.
It's so empowering.
Right? It's like, no, I just want to keep listening. And so, like, then we wake up. So here's when I realized who he really was. So you can see he wakes up 3:30. So like, I woke up this time because we were out. I was like, you know what? I'm going to wake up early because I'm out with Ralph. I'm going to wake up at 4:30 today. And because we got here late, I know he's going to sleep at 4:30. Nope. I wake up at 4:30. I'm looking around the room. There's no Ralph. So I'm like, dang, where'd he go? So I go and I just like, brush my teeth and everything. I go take a shower, I come out the shower. Here comes Ralph walking in from the gym. And I'm like,
holy, you already got the gym crust. Walking in from the gym. Oh.
Right, like, it was like, wait a minute, like, it's 4:45, bro. Like, you're like, you want some breakfast? Like, you want to go get some breakfast?
He's like ready for breakfast already. He's like, got the gym done, getting his gains in. Like,
yeah, like, wait a minute, how do you, bro, man? Okay. All right, bro. And when you see his Instagram, literally, when you see his Instagram, he's showing you him working out at that time. But I've seen this 6 years ago. I've watched this man even become what he looks like now. He still had like the frame. He still had the big muscle. He still had the outer work, but he told me then all he was doing was trying to just maintain. And he became, so now he does like his own, like, he has like his own companies, like doing, what you call it, like, he helps you with fitness, but he's also like an accountant. He had like a master's in accounting degree or something like that. So like, that was the other thing. He was really good in school. So like, he goes and he's working for the government and all that. So anyway, when he was saying he was maintaining, he was like, it ran him out. And because I got to see that person though, even though that person wasn't even who he is today, because of me also, I went to his house. Forgot to tell you this part. Go to his house, and that's when I think it changed my mind in my life. You see, that's why now I ordered my whiteboard, for example. is because when I went into his room, he had his vision board. On his wall, on his bedroom wall, was a vision board on the left. Then he had, right in front of him was like his bookshelf. Inside of his bookshelf, though, was over 50 books, but it wasn't even the books that really mattered. What mattered to me was the fact that each book had little notes and little things put in it, as if to say, like, this is mine, don't touch this one. This is for this time.
Like he studied, he studied it up and down and had like colored sticky notes in it.
Colored, and they were color coordinated. And then on the side there was a MAC key for colors. So like anybody could go there, look about something like there's like the color might be like mindset. Like so anything about your mindset would be colored purple. So if you look on all these books, you see the purple, then this was a perfect, chapter about mindset. This was a perfect, if it's on the front of the book, then the whole book, like it's crazy like how he did it. And I'm just like, oh. Then you look on the other wall and he had two different dots. It was dots of all the places he's already traveled in the world. And then there was and then there was red places of places he wants to go. And he would change them from red to green once he goes. Like, and you're seeing that, and then he has like, you see the whole plan, you see what he's doing, then you see the books, and it was just like, all right, so if I ever want to make it, this is what I gotta do. Like, it just shows me like that the way I'm living is not uncut. Like, you think you're gonna be able to make money by getting up when you want to, going out there for a few hours, just run ahead and then go home and maybe drink a few beers and watch some TV and get you anywhere.
Garbage in, garbage out, right?
Right, yeah, you feel me?
It's the giggle. It's so true.
Right, and it's crazy even like, looking at some of, I think I was talking to one of my buddies who actually sells life insurance with me. So we talk about it all the time now because now we're making more money now. Now we're helping more people get the money. Like the amount of people that we're educating on money and finances and even credit, and when they're done, they're like, I think I just actually had a phone call with somebody yesterday that was just like, wow, man, bro, I think like I should pay you a little more just to be able to talk to you.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is all knowledge, man. It's like, it's out there for everyone, bro. And he's like, bro, I've talked to, I'm telling you, like 50 different people about this one subject, and nobody's giving me what you just gave me. And it's always was just because like, and I told him, I said, man, it's because of the people I became around. They gave me this. When you're, I had a whole conversation with, it was my guy, Chris Warren, my upline, Chris Hart, for a PhD. And we go to, I was in Maryland, and we stayed up till, I think it was about 2-3 o'clock in the morning, debating capitalism and socialism. Like,
this intellectual conversation, just mind blown. Right?
Right, like, we're having this intellectual conversation over capitalism at 2 o'clock in the morning. And it was crazy because then we had a school, mind you, we had a whole like class that we had to go to, like we call it Fast Start School. We had a class that we had to go to by 8 a.m. the next day. So we're up to 2 as a team talking about this. 4 of them had presentations and even the upline who was talking about capitalism was like, man, you know what? I didn't even write my presentation yet. So, but then it was crazy because what was the actual presentation on? He gave a presentation on capitalism and why it's great, why capitalism is good. And one of the things I didn't even pay attention to, which was, and it was about the whole Trump versus Biden thing here. And so, of course, they're like, no Trump. But when Trump was like, my kept just saying like, how if you worked hard for, let's say, do you believe that Michael Jordan deserved to be better than other people because he worked like he did? Or do you think because he was so good, he should have gotten weights put on his ankles to slow him? And of course you'd be like, well, shoot, like he worked for that. He should get, all right. So you think somebody who works day and night to get this for their family I work to make that happen for him. So you think that it's unfair, that he's able to get that because his family worked for it, or do you think that if your son got this, you should take it away from him? Like, well, no, if I work for this for my son should have it. Well, that's capitalism. That's exactly what capitalism is. And so if you're a person that believes in hard work, you're a person that believes that you should get what you deserve by your work and not just given to you, then you believe in Trump. But if you want socialists, if you want everything handed to you, then that's a Bible. And it was crazy. And he was like, I'm not saying, I'm not gonna tell you who to vote for or anything like that politically. And he was like, and honestly, I don't even know. I'm not voting Biden or Trump. I might go independent. But it's just about, do you want a capitalist society or do you want a socialist society? And then understanding what they are, and to understand that socialists are basically what he called the crabs in a bucket. Socialists basically everybody's equal. So no matter what you do, how you do it, you're always supposed to be equal to the next man. Which means everybody's supposed to get paid the same dollar. I'm sorry. I'm not that, but I understand, like I said, I was talking to my wife, I understand that there's also, I like to run a business, and there's people that like to work for a company. They don't even ever think about running a business. They'll tell you straight up and down, I don't never want to do that, man. All that work, and they're quick to say all that work.
That's why I was talking about that in a video yesterday about the commission mindset. And, when you're an employee, you trade your time for dollars. So X amount of time you put in is how many hours you get in return. So, say you work 160 hours for the month and you get $2,000, maybe $2,500. That's like $12 to $15 an hour. You spent 160 hours to make $2,000 at minimum wage, right? So I was thinking, and then I mentioned about the commission mindset. So commission mindset is based off of effort and based off of skill. And it's effort does beat skill, but if you have skill, you can also make more commissions. If you put in more effort, you can make more commissions. And I was like, when I was pushing brooms on the construction site for $12 an hour, if I pushed a broom really hard 1 hour, but I didn't push it really hard the next hour, I still got paid the same. And then I was talking about the commission mindset where when I'm doing door-to-door sales and if I go out to the field and I'm like, you know what, I'm not even gonna work today, I'm gonna go to the coffee shop, I'm gonna chill, the least amount I've ever got paid for a day's work in sales is $0. But if I decide to go out there and put in either effort or use my skill, right? But effort is more powerful than skill at the end of the day. If I decide to go and put a lot of effort in that day, boom, I was mentioning commission mindset, I can make $2,000 in a day, which I have done that in 3 hours because that's the basis. And people are making that in a month, 160 hours worth of work. But that's why having that commission mindset is almost like having that mindset where, hey, if I work hard, I expect to get paid for what my hard work is worth, because it didn't matter how fast I washed the dishes when I was working at the restaurant. If I wash them fast 1 hour and wash them slow the next, I'm getting paid the same amount either way. And that's what I believe. I believe I should get paid based off of my efforts or my skill that I bring to the table. I should be compensated fairly for that. And that's the commission mindset. That's how I agree. Because what if one guy works 10 times as hard, but the other guy is picking up the slack? If you work on a construction site, there's always going to be that guy that's slacking, and there's always going to be that guy that's picking up everyone else's slack. And the guy who picks up everyone else's slack should be getting paid more, and the other people should be getting paid less. It's effort that you put in is the result you should get out. And that's something that I believe as well too. I stand behind that.
Yeah, that's a definite, man. Because, and even I like how you go to the commission mindset, because that was actually one of my things and biggest things I realized when I fell in love with sales. So I've been in sales since I was my first, like I said, was I was 16, like just selling. Well, like first I was like retail, and then and then like right. The thing like after when I was in retail, I was doing like PetSmart. I ended up working for like the Joseph A. Banks, and at first I'm like, you know what, this retail stuff sucks. And until I started learning how to make sales. And then I started realizing, then he told me like, look, if you want, you can get off the hourly and we'll put you on the commission. And I was like, well, what's the commission? And at the time, I remembered my biggest, and this is why I say it's so crazy, because of how you see how they, I know, baby, I'm getting it. You see how people are basically bred, like programmed. Like you said, it's just our program to be more of an hourly than a commission mindset. Because my mom, when I was when I got there, she was like, she used to tell me when I told her, I was like, man, Mom, I think I'm about to go ahead and switch to just commission. She said, well, that might not be a good idea. Like, what about like, how much money are you gonna make a month? Like, like, what do you mean, how much? Like, as much as I want.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That was my money. As much as I want.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, it doesn't work. Like, what if you don't make us, like, and in my mind, she's telling me, like, what if you don't do this? What if you don't? And don't get me wrong, it worked. It worked. I got scared, and I was like, you know what? She was like, you need to at least have some hourly. So, like, because I got scared, I kept the base pay. And I was so upset, bro, because I remember it like it was yesterday. I kept the base pay with like a little bit of commission. Bro, that month, like if I actually took off the base pay, I would have made like $8,500, right? In that month. I kept the base pay on, so I made like $2,000 or $2,500 or something after taxes.
That reminds me.
I was so like,
yeah.
I'm like, yo, what is this?
Yo, that was the first lesson I had when I was I think I was 19 or 20. I started doing door-to-door sales. And I remember I was like this. I was like, oh, I really want to have the base pay because like I need to make sure that I'm at least going to have money at the end of the week. And he's like, okay, I'll tell you this. How about this? At the end of the week, you promise me I will train you. I will give you 100% effort. I want your 100% effort. At the end of the week, when it comes payday, you can choose if you want your commission or if you want your base pay. You can choose. And I was like, you know what? I can agree on that. Let's do it. So I went in for the week. He taught me, trained me. I made a bunch of sales. I think I made like 7 sales. It was like, or 8 sales. It was like $800. And like, he's like, at the end of the week, he's like, okay, we're all in a group. And he was laughing. He's like, okay, Daine. He's like, what do you want? Do you want your base pay of $500 or do you want your commission of $800? And I was like, oh, I'll get the base pay. And I was like, oh, wait, no. They all laughed because I was like, they're crazy. Why would you take the base pay? And they all laughed and I was like, oh, wait. I mean, I'll take the commission. And everyone was like, oh.
Right, yeah.
And that was the first time you reminded me of that. I was faced with that decision. I was like, red pill or blue pill? And like, in that moment, I was like, why would I ever want having any kind of base pay? Like I exceeded my base pay goal, but if I didn't, maybe I would have been one of those people that just quit sales because I didn't put in the effort, I didn't get the result,
right? And
then now all of a sudden I'm not making any money, and then I'm like, oh, this sales doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's crazy you said that because like my wife was one of them. Like so, my wife, So craziest part, it's crazy that me and her, so the first time I actually did business to business sales was a month after we got married. So we got married and we both didn't have a job. I had a bunch of money I had saved. I had a car accident, so like I had money from the lawsuit still. So like that's how we were able to get married and still live or whatnot. We find jobs. And I'm like, all right, let's go. And she finds this business to business with Direct Energy. So she gets there, she's like, as she's going around, she's telling me, she's like, wow, like, we're kind of knocking on doors and doing this. Honestly, I think this fits you way more than it fits me. Like, I'm not a salesy person. I don't even like talk to people. And like, so I'm like, all right. So I ended up going, so now me and my wife work for the same, like, the same office, but she was selling direct energy out the office, and I was selling T-Mobile out the office.
Yeah.
Now, when I got there, I already knew I had already been faced with this decision, like I said, at Joseph A. Banks before. So I knew straight off the bat, hey, yo, give me the commission, bro. I'm not even having this talk. Give me the commission. Do this. We're not even gonna have this talk. $100 per line? Oh yeah, give me the commission, bro.
Yeah.
With the commission, I might go in there, they might have 4 kids, bro. That's $400 just from her, bro. Man, I want the commission.
Yeah.
And it happened to me one time, like one person gave me $1,100. And so like I walk in and like and then my wife, she was with Direct Energy, and they asked her the same question. Thing was, like with Direct Energy, like you said, I think it was like $400 a week they'll just give you. And she was like, well, baby, we need to make sure we at least have the rent money. So I'll just use my whole check to pay our rent, whatnot. And then whatever commission you get, that's just what we'll use for like the car and food and stuff. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And the craziest thing happens one day. So my wife goes to this one lawyer who, honestly, everybody and their mother tried to sell, apparently, at the company. So like a lot of people knew this guy, and they told her like, yo, don't even do it. Like he'll never do it. And they was like, I'm surprised he even let you this far or whatever, right? So craziest thing was, I just like the fourth, you're only supposed to go back 3 times, you know the rule. And but she went back a 5th time. So we went back time number 5. I never forget time number 5 because I was outside in the car. And she was like, I drove her. She was like, you know what? Forget going straight to the territory. She was like, just take me straight to the lawyer. She was like, we're not doing this today. I was like, what? She's like, I'm going straight to the lawyer. I'm not doing this today. And so, like, all right. So she comes back out, bro. She comes back out with a stack of like contracts. And I'm looking, I'm like, baby, why is it so many? She came out and was like, do you know he owns 23 offices? I was like, wait, what? It's like, you got 23 deals right now?
And then you're doing the math in your head. You're like, you start calculating everything, and you're like,
right. I'm like, Crystal, you just made like $7,000, like right now. Like, yo, this is over 7,000. Like, I'm going crazy with the numbers and blah, blah, and like, I'm going like, oh yeah. But here's the thing. If you're on commission, it would be about 8,000. We can go by his watt usage, and one of his buildings, or 2 of them, was huge churches. So the watt usage was out of this world. But if you're on base pay, then you can only get $40 per contract. Okay. So I'm calculating like 7,000. I'm all like, yeah. Oh wait, and actually I think it was less. I think it was like $20 or something stupid like that. Yeah, it was $20 or something. So because afterwards we get it, and I remember her check being like $600 or something. Like $400. No, it was like $458. Before taxes, it was like $600. And looked at her check, and that was the day she quit. Like in her heart, she quit.
It's defeating,
like, I could tell. Like, I looked at her and was like, oh shit. Like, she's like, what is this? And then that's when it came to her and was like, no, you chose the base pay, so you can't get this. Like, she's like, what? I'm like,
I know.
I'm like, I'm looking at her, I don't want to say like I told you something, like, baby, it's okay, like, you can switch the commission now. She's like, fuck that, I'm not doing that. I'm like, all right, baby, like, all right, well, this out. But the craziest thing is, though, like, she did stay on a little longer, actually helped me on Direct Energy, because what she actually helped me do is learn how to close. I was really good at opening, getting you ready to just
building friends, getting to know people, connecting, chatting.
Great at that. Then after, when it comes to the pen and paper and the closing part, I just be looking around like, all right, what do I do? What do I do now? And like, so I think it was like one lady we're selling, and the lady already told us no. So she tells us no. I walk outside and I look at the paperwork and I see, and I'm a numbers guy, so like I just analyze the numbers real fast. Like, wait a minute. Nah. And she was like, what? She was like, what? I was like, watch this. she gonna sign today.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, I'm gonna see. I go inside and I literally I call this lady. I'm like, wait a minute, I forgot one thing. She was like, what is it? She's like, you lucky I like you. She started laughing. It was like, I forgot the blue walls. She was like, what? The blue walls? I was like, nah, for real. Seriously, I forgot to tell you this. And so I showed her. And she's like, well, oh my gosh, yeah, that would save me a whole lot of money. Wow, nobody ever showed me that. I'm like, yeah, no, right? It's good. This is where you close, but you hear what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, right, yeah. And then also, I remember the look my wife gave me was like one of those corner what are you doing? And when she looked like that, she said, okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna sign right here.
Yeah, right. Just assume it. That's actually one of the golden rules of closing is you have to speak in language and assume as if they're already gonna do it, and they're gonna be sitting there like, am I doing this? But then you're gonna be like, okay, yeah, this is all you have to do. Perfect. What's your first name?
It was the first thing you go, and I learned that because of I do that now, with it's second nature now.
It's the things you see.
Wife who gave it to me.
You gotta watch the things you hear, the things you say, but also because you see those little things, you learn. It affects your subconscious mind. Those little things that you see. That's it.
Right, and then like I said, bro, when I seen it. And you see somebody how she just assumed okay, you just sign right here. The lady just took the pen and started signing, and I'm just like, hey, it's that simple.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here trying to figure it out like it was a long drawn out speech or something. I had to do this crazy talk to get this. And all you did was say sign right here. She signed. She was like, wow, you gotta learn how to just tell people what to do. And I'm like, wait, what? It's you just tell them what to do. They're gonna do it now. She said, you already had them she was like, the lady was looking at you what do I do next? He was like, maybe you couldn't read that, but she was going along with you because she liked you. She was really just now, just wasting her time. And she's like, okay, I want it. So I'm like, oh, I get it. But man, that was one of the greatest things to see is that's all you do is just, you got this. All right. And that's why, I said, so when I was doing the business to business and the sales with her, she seen that commission, it was no, I'm not doing this.
Exactly.
Man, I love that commission mindset, bro. Because even though I was talking to my boy Dom, who was he helps me with marketing and whatnot, and we were going over. I guess he was going over how his wife wanted to be a nail tech, and he was like, "It's cool to be a nail tech," but he said, "But here's the one thing, I still see a cap." He was like, because I can only do so many nails in so many hours. There's no way, even if I speed up and let's say now I can do 40 minutes, there's 8 hours in a day that they'll be working, so there's certain things. So I still have a set number. There is no, okay, I can make it anytime, or I can make a lot here, or we're not. And so you don't really have the freedom to choose. Like I said, when I did the business even, there were days because I already made $1,200, on Monday and Tuesday, and I really needed to make that for 2 weeks. All right, you know what, baby, I'll take you to the thing, but I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna go fishing today.
Yeah, exactly. And you can choose to do that because you don't have it's your own unit. It's as much effort you put in as the commission you can get out. And if you want to do that, that's cool.
Right. Nobody's gonna be like, no, you can't do that. But all right, well, hey, look, it's your money. That's it. It's your money. Because they don't have to pay. That's why, honestly, I know why, I instead of hourly for the team, because of that.
And here's the second. So the second part of commission mindset. So once you have the commission mindset, now you have to look for leverage. So there's the employee mindset. We'll trade your time for dollars. I work 160 hours. I get $2,000. Commission mindset is if I put in a lot of effort, I can make $2,000 in 3 hours. And but then the next part of the commission mindset is when you get into passive and leverage. So once you understand the commission mindset, now it's so simple to switch, to start focusing on leverage and passive income, because like it goes hand in hand with commission mindset. Because like once you can really get to the point where like, even if you're like, you know what, I already made 1,000, I'm gonna take the next day off. But if you have a team of salespeople, say if you took the day off but you got $20 for every deal they did and they did 10, then at the end of the day you got I don't even know, that's like $240. But that's the leverage, right? And that's why, like,
I think what was that the 10x rule?
Yep, 10x.
Yeah, 10x rule.
Yeah,
and that's crazy. I love that. That and even that like the leverage part. I've always that was one of the spaces that, you know, now I'm getting better at. But I definitely, when I finally learned it, I understood, you know, what Ralph was speaking about now. Like, you know, how money works, like you said, passively.
Exactly, yeah.
That's what your mindset is like, okay, but then you still have, like you said, but then there's still a part that if I don't get up, I still don't get paid. You know, then it's like, okay, there has to be a way that whether I get up or not.
Right there. That's it. That's the answer. When you're on that day when you're sitting there and you don't want to go in, and then you ask yourself that question, there has to be a way where I could still get paid and not do anything. That's the day your life will change. You'll unlock the secrets to the whole universe. Because once you start to figure out that question, you're made. Set for life. Like, you'll never have to worry about money again when you answer that question. Every day.
You know, I'm laughing because, like, man, that was, oh man, it was like, that was one of those goosebump moments.
Exactly, yeah.
Because when I asked that question and I figured it, like, for example, I don't know if I told you, like, how I have my business, how I'm setting up my business is basically, so when you're a credit client with me, you actually, I don't like I said, I don't like to just fix your credit. So I send you through a whole education course. You go through education with me about credit, you know, about building it, about the little myths, things that also they're not telling you. Also little tricks so that you don't ever get hit with certain late fees just because of the fact that they switch or there's certain things. Also, you go through like a course with like my life insurance instructor. Now, here's the thing. When you're going on the course with him, you really, first of all, I'm not there. I'm not there. I don't work there. I don't do anything. And so when he actually makes the deal though, we split the deal 50-50. Now there's also, I have because he's with PHP, you know, that's a network marketing. So there's also a team that's being built under me as well. Whenever my clients come in, I have certain clients that became life insurance agents with me, who are also, you know, giving me residuals, or they go out and make a sale today, and, you know, I get like 20% of what they made, you know, things like that. And when I was finally got that answer, I'm like, you know what? I have to figure out that. Like, because who wants to wake up? And I think it was, again, Ralph. It was Ralph. It was when I was with Ralph, the upline he had that had the office, not gonna lie, terrible for like building, but great for the look of what freedom looks like. Because this man really, even though he was in Primerica and stuff, like, obviously he was an MD and all that, but like, and like 100K earner, all this stuff, or the 200, I think he was like 200K earner, or 250, I mean, a $250,000 earner. And then, but he was rarely at the office, like, rarely saw him. And then literally all morning, he'd be like, where's such and such? And he'd be like, he's golfing. Look,
exactly.
He's golfing. Like, wait, what? Oh, we're all in here. Or you'll ask again, and you'll be like, oh yeah, he just went to Hawaii. He's where? In Hawaii? Like, you know, and it's just like, how does he get to just do all of this? He's never here.
That the one book that I will hands down recommend, which I say should be the next book for anybody to read if they haven't read it, is Millionaire Fastlane, because that book literally teaches you how to set that up exactly. And like, the power of the internet is so powerful for leverage, like how much control you have with leverage. And then you said this, Buddy had that business, and he was only limited to how many people he could see in a day. That's why, like, if you're like this, oh, I'm gonna open up a barber shop, and then you go spend all the money, get the store, get the barber shop, blah blah blah, but you didn't think about this. There's only so many hairs you can cut in a day, and there's only so many people that can walk in your store. So it's like there's a cap, and like so the only way you can grow that is if you go open up another branch and another branch and another branch, and at least have 10 branches so you can duplicate. Like, that's called scaling. If you can scale, but like otherwise you're limited. You can't raise the price of haircuts, like it's standard, and you also can't raise how many people can come in your store because there's only so many hours in a day. But on the internet, those two things, scale and magnitude, you can adjust them. Magnitude is how much it costs, and scale is how many people you can reach in a day. And the power of the internet to leverage its systems, that's why people are clearing, literally, it sounds unfathomable, but people are clearing $100,000 weekends. Russell Brunson, he's like this, I have 37,000 people on my email list. I sent everyone on my email list an invite for a webinar. Out of those 37,000 people, 3,000 showed up. And he's like this, I had a $3,000 product that I was selling. 3,000 people showed up. He's like, 60 people bought the product. And this was a one-day webinar. And on a Saturday, he made $120,000 on one day. Because he had a 37,000 person email list. He sent them all an email. 3,000 people showed up to the webinar. He sold a $3,000 product, like 60 people bought, and it was like $120,000 on a Saturday. And like, these guys are just doing this like gravy, but they leverage the internet. And Millionaire Fastlane is probably the best book I've ever read in terms of understanding leverage.
I'm definitely gonna get that thing. That's my next read then.
Hands down was like, actually like, that one was, it was just, I for anyone, I would say, if you haven't read it, the next book I would always recommend should be Millionaire Fastlane.
I'm literally texting somebody to like also remind him, like, so like I have a reading buddy. So like you said Millionaire Fastlane, right?
Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco, paperback.
All right.
Super crazy investment. Like what he teaches about leverage is like, that is like the cheat code for that. Like everything he talks about is how he did it on the internet, and the internet right now is just, there's no better place to reach that type of, like, to use leverage. And for your commission and for your leverage, for those two things, there's nothing easier than the internet.
Yeah, right now, and that's what I'm saying, right now, the internet is like, it's blowing my mind, bro. Have you looked at some of like the things, like even like the crypto and like the fact that like money is going digital and can be sent through the internet?
Yeah.
And it's real. Like I have an Ethereum one. I had like brought one when it was like 1,500. A buddy of mine was like, bro, you better go in there. It's gonna go up to 20,000. So I was like, all right, bro, I'll listen. And like just to watch that and be like, wait, really working? Like I'm gonna double my investment.
And that's leverage too, because you're using your money as a leverage tool. That's also leverage, and it's passive. So yeah, you're making commission, but it's leverage and it's passive at the same time.
Oh yeah. All right, bro. And I'm gonna end up call you back. She can't sleep, so I'm putting her to sleep real fast.
Perfect, brother. I'm gonna just we'll close this up here. It was a great conversation. I'm gonna edit this into a video, and then
true. So everybody that's out there to learn and actually like to intake and be able to help them get to, like you said, that new level, bro. Like that actual happy stage. Like I think it was, matter of fact, it was I was listening to my podcast yesterday, and he was speaking about how a lot of people think that the confidence came, like, for example, like I could walk out, my head could be unshaved, I could be, wearing a bag, worst clothes, and I still be talking to them just like this. Like, there's no I'm not gonna hide. I don't shop. It's just how I became because of my mindset. Like, oh well, you know what? This is how this is. I see things different. And he was saying that like, when a lot of times people attach themselves to the clothes or the cars or the things, because he was saying how like where he was like how a lot of people, you know, they're faking it to like be like, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but they're really not, and then or they don't really have the money, and then when they actually get the money, they're like, well, hopefully they keep doing it, making it long enough that one day they'll wake up with the money, and it really doesn't work that way. But
you gotta give value. Like that's like you gotta give before you can get.
And just like he had said, and so he used to tell me, one of the things he used to say was like, you know, I bet you if you get, you know, you help somebody get a house, I bet you'll get one. I bet you if you got somebody to go to school, I bet you'll get, you know, if you go. And the craziest part is, I'm living and, you know, finally got 2 floors. I've got this house now that I can actually buy a house now. I have the credit, I have the finances. But last year I helped 4 people get a house. I fixed people's credit and they were able to purchase homes last year. And so this year, I just got my new car. I just got this. I had 6 people get a car last year. I haven't had a car in 8 years. You know, I helped 6 people get a car last year. All of a sudden, I got a car.
Well, we should charge people like at least like 50, maybe like $30 just to get access to this video, because like there's too many nuggets in here. Like this is something you could actually throw in for a fee, because like, you know, the nuggets in here, people can take this, and like this video alone can change people's lives. Like even like all these, so many ideas. Like that's a very powerful one.
No, I'm telling you, bro. Like, and that's the craziest thing. Like, for me to actually realize that, like, I think even me, I woke up one day and I walked outside. My wife would tell you some days I'm still in shock of where we're at now because of where we came from, and how before I was a selfish guy. I was the guy who was all about me. It was all about, matter of fact, my wife couldn't even be around. She couldn't even have friends almost. Like, you know, I went out with other people. Like, nah, baby, it's my time. Everything was my time. I stopped thinking about me, and I started getting the things I want. And that is ironic as it sounds. It's like, that's really how it works. You know, the universe does that. You know, it gives you what you're given, you know, and you can't give what you don't have. So in order for me to even start, you know, giving out, you know, these nuggets or giving out the knowledge I have, guess what? I have to first go get it. I have to first go read. I have to first go. That's where I had to learn to take those hours and, you know, in the night when nobody's paying attention, you know, when nobody's up, when everybody's asleep, I'm up working. It's the quietest time for me, you know, things like that was going on. But, and when you're doing it for others, it's just crazy how, like I said, bro, I just got brand new stuff. I got a t-shirt from Nipsey Hussle's store because for free. You know, everything was free. I got some Gucci's. I also got some new pair of shoes. He gave me some Ferragamos free. Like, he just gave it to me because of, and that really wasn't even him, you know, it was more because I've been giving to everyone, you know, just giving it out. Just give it to them. Like, hey, man, we'll do this for free, but here, just take this knowledge, man. Let's see you use it. I think I was even one of the other things real fast was secondhand smoke. So, you know how there's secondhand smoke? We just need to let everybody in the world know that there's one thing. You can have the secondhand smoke. It was on the ET podcast. He was talking about I think it was Jamal. He said the secondhand, you can't catch secondhand success. You know,
that one cuts. Cuts. That one just like a slash.
Right, that right there, that's where it is. But just remember, this is for everybody. Like I said, I heard this on the podcast. I think it was Jamal. Yeah, you can catch secondhand smoke. You can't catch secondhand success. You gotta get that yourself.
We can end it off on that. That was a great note, brother. Appreciate that.
All right, bro. You have a good one too, bro.
You too. Enjoy the day, brother. Blessings.